I look like my man left me.
That's so nuts.
Took all my money.
That already happened.
Oh, you bitch.
Afraid to date in LA. I heard stories and,
What's the
about the parties, about the Down Low brothers and about all of that. And I'm like, I ain't but none of that. I don't want you to be playing with me. I don't want to be no notch on nobody's belt like I had her, I've never been no fuck girl, none of that.
So proud of her for being so honest. I'm so proud.
LisaRaye and Tisha Campbell are speaking up loud and clear because they're not letting Jada just hide behind the spotlight anymore. With celebs getting exposed left and right after the Epstein file drama, big names like Beyonce and Jay-Z, and of course Will and Jada, are said to be in panic mode. Rumor is, all their shady behind-the-scenes dealings are starting to come to light, and it's not looking good at all. If anyone has real tension with Jada, it's definitely LisaRaye and Tisha Campbell. Word is, Will and Jada didn't just mess with their marriages, they stirred up chaos in the industry too, especially with new rising stars who are just trying to make a name for themselves. People are whispering that the couple used their power to get what they wanted, and is leaving a bad taste everywhere. And when it comes to Jada's private life, things get even wilder. Everyone remembers that famous entanglement with Alsina, right? But insiders are now saying that wasn't even the first time Jada crossed those lines. That was just the first time she actually got caught in public. Will and Jada really thought folks would move on after the Oscar slap drama, but the opposite happened. Their names are now being tied to Diddy and even popping up around the Epstein scandal rumors. Apparently, Will's name keeps coming up in conversations that are making Hollywood shake. Will's name wasn't mentioned much in those leaked documents, but people couldn't help noticing something strange. One page talked about a young victim whose story sounded way too similar to Raye Gray, the actor from Empire. Even if it wasn't him directly, the sheer number of victims being listed made people's heads spin. What can't be denied, though, is that Raye seems to have been another casualty of the twisted entertainment network, a system that allegedly passed him around to powerful older men until it completely broke him down.
And I feel that he was a baby. Now, I'm all for if you want to date somebody younger, go for it, you know what I mean? But because of his circumstance and why in which he came to her, wounded and hurt, and in her lap, how in the hell did he get off the lap and then you got onto the dick? I don't understand.
Old clips of Will Smith talking about mentoring Raye Gray have started going viral again, and they're giving people chills. In those videos, Will can be seen smiling and hyping Raye up, saying things like he was gonna reach for the stars and that he was in the best hands. Now, fans are looking back at those moments with a whole different lens, and it's sparking some serious side eyes across social media. And apparently, the same type of situation might have happened with Meek Mill and Alsina too. Allegedly, August was introduced to the Smiths right around 2015, right when he was battling serious health problems, liver disease, and nerve damage that left him struggling to even walk. The timing of it all has everyone asking uncomfortable questions about what really went down behind closed doors. August's situation just kept getting darker. He reportedly got hooked on Percocet after struggling with intense pain, and because of all those health issues, he couldn't even work properly. Even though he had money coming in from his music, word is he wasn't managing it right at all. Bills were piling up, and he came dangerously close to being evicted. As if that wasn't enough stress, he was also caught up in heavy family drama that had him emotionally drained.
We all want family. That's what we've been taught. We've been taught to we live, we grow, we create a family. I mean, that's what you do. You be with your family, you know what I'm saying? So
his relationship with his mom wasn't in a good place either, which made everything even harder to handle. Feeling lost and looking for peace, August turned to the one person he thought could help, Jada Smith. Since he was already close with the whole Smith family, he reached out to her for what he thought would be some spiritual guidance. But another young man coming to the Smiths for guidance? You can already imagine how that story played out. As time went on, Jada and August's friendship took a wild turn. They didn't just stay close, they got real close. And remember, Jada's about 20 years older than August. That didn't stop their bond from getting deep though, and August made it loud and clear how much she meant to him. On her 47th birthday, he posted this emotional message that had everyone talking. I don't believe in luck. I believe in God's divine order, and you are an example of God's divinity and its covering over my life. I could spend a lifetime decoding you. You are my little piece of heaven here on earth. The fortune in my cookie. You are love personified. There hasn't been enough diction created to articulate or express the capacity of my love for you. So as my soul continues this quest, I'd like to say happy birthday, best. You're nothing like the rest.
It's a void out here for a lot of people. I know for me, I feel a void in my life because I can't get down with my family like that. And
people couldn't believe how intense that message was. It sounded like something out of a love novel. And what made it even more shocking, not even Will Smith ever posted something that heartfelt about Jada. Ever. That post had fans and blogs going wild, wondering what was really going on between the two. But then things took a messy turn. Once the world found out that Jada and August were in a full-blown relationship that had been going on for 4 years, everything started crashing down. The truth hit hard. August had actually believed he was becoming part of a real loving family with the Smiths, but when the secret came out, it cost him more than just his peace. It shook his entire world. Why would anyone ever think August came out on top from that whole situation? He didn't benefit at all. If anything, he got dragged through the mud while Will and Jada tried to play it cool. When August finally spoke up, he blew the lid off their entire situation. But instead of owning up, they flipped it back on him. Suddenly, people were calling it a publicity stunt, and rumors started flying that August only spoke out to promote his new album. But the truth fell way deeper than that. And for LisaRaye and Tisha Campbell, it hit way too close to home. Both of them had dealt with Jada's games before. Tisha Campbell and Jada were tight for years, way before Jada even married Will. Will and Jada were actually guests at Tisha and Dwayne Martin's wedding in 1996, and the following year, Tisha even showed up for Jada's big day when she married Will.
Son brought him to you all, and you all brought him in like family and started vacationing with him. So you were trying to mentor him. So you done fucked him up even more right here.
But after the Smiths tied the knot, their whole vibe started to shift, and not in a good way. According to whispers in the industry, Will had a thing for Tisha for a long time and even admitted that his crush hadn't gone away. Tisha thought he was just joking and told Jada about it, thinking it was just harmless conversation between friends. But turns out, Jada already knew, and instead of shutting it down, she started buttering Tisha up, acting all supportive about the situation. Now here's where it gets really messy. Dwayne Martin, Tisha's own husband, was allegedly already involved with Jada behind the scenes, but Tisha had no clue when she said "I do." Word is, both Dwayne and Jada slowly started easing Tisha into their world, convincing her that it was all love and trust. Before she even realized what was happening, the lines were completely blurred, and all four of them had gotten tangled up in one shocking, complicated union. The Smiths knew exactly how to keep Tisha and Dwayne close. They funded their restaurant, backed their business moves, and made sure the couple stayed right where they wanted them. On paper, it looked like generosity, but behind the scenes, it kept Tisha tangled in their web. Most of the money stuff was handled by Dwayne, but every business they touched seemed to flop. Their finances started crashing hard, debts were stacking up faster than they could pay them, and acting gigs had dried up for both of them.
Everybody's always like, why don't you just get divorced? And it's like, that's like quitting. I don't think there's any person that could embrace the best and the worst of me and be willing to hold space in the way that Will hold space for me and the way that I hold space for him.
Things got so bad they were reportedly struggling to pay their mortgage, and with a child who needed extra care and attention, the pressure was unreal. Eventually, Tisha had enough. She filed for divorce and started digging into where all the money had actually gone. That's when the real shocker hit. She knew the Smiths had helped fund their restaurant, but what she didn't know was that Will Smith also had legal papers on their house. Turns out, he'd loaned them around $1.4 million to buy the property, meaning it wasn't even fully theirs. Tisha thought she and Dwayne were paying the bank, and that once the divorce went through, she could sell the house and walk away with something. But nope, since the house was technically owned under the Smiths' name, she didn't get a dime from it. It was like all the years of work and sacrifice disappeared in an instant. And to make matters worse, Tisha started suspecting that Will and Jada were secretly helping Dwayne hide money during the divorce. It was a total betrayal. Realizing the trap she was in, Tisha understood that if she wanted true freedom, she'd have to walk away with nothing, leaving behind not just her marriage, but everything she had built under their control. But that's not even the end of the drama, not by a long shot. Word on the street is that Will Smith and Dwayne Martin allegedly had their own thing going on behind closed doors. You heard that right, and the plot thickened even more when Will's former assistant came forward claiming there was truth to all those rumors. That revelation sent shockwaves through Hollywood and had everyone connecting dot stayed ignored for years. For Tisha, that was the ultimate betrayal. She had trusted both of them, and Jada too. Jada was supposed to be her friend, someone who respected the bond they shared. But instead, Tisha was left heartbroken, while the same people she trusted painted her as the crazy one in the media. They made it seem like she was just being dramatic, when all she was doing was telling her truth.
There's no greater mirror I could have than Will. I can't get around myself. Just like he can't get around himself with me. Would it be easier to go and find somebody else and have a more pleasing, more comfortable relationship? Maybe. But would that get me to the person that I really want to be? I don't think so.
So when the whole situation between Jada and August finally exploded for the world to see, Tisha couldn't help but feel some relief. At last, people were beginning to see Jada's real colors. She even posted a message that hit hard, saying the truth always comes out in the end. No matter how hard anyone tries to hide it, lies are just a temporary delay to the inevitable. She didn't stop there. She added, they will lie to the end. The real kiki is people will stop believing them. LisaRaye quickly backed her up, standing 10 toes down beside Tisha because she had her own share of messy experiences with Will and Jada's circle too. Things got even messier once LisaRaye brought Dwayne Martin into her personal circle. She introduced him to her ex-husband, Michael Missick, not realizing the chaos that was about to unfold. According to whispers in the industry, Dwayne had already been introduced to a whole different lifestyle through Will Smith. They first met on the set of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and quickly formed what people called a friendship. But let's be real, the rumors about those two have been swirling for years. Allegedly, during that so-called friendship, Dwayne realized that being close to powerful, wealthy stars was a much easier way to make money than grinding for acting roles. And when LisaRaye introduced him to Michael, things started going downhill fast. People say Dwayne began showing Michael a new side of Hollywood, introducing him to parties, women, and scenes that eventually tore his marriage apart. What's even worse, some of those women were said to be Lisa's own friends. But it didn't stop there. Insiders claimed that Dwayne and Michael's bond went way beyond business or social circles. It became something much deeper and more personal. The connection between them got so tight that Dwayne was reportedly able to walk in and out of LisaRaye's house whenever he wanted, with no questions asked. LisaRaye was left feeling powerless, watching her home, her marriage, and her peace slip right through her fingers.
Do y'all remember when I told you that a $3 million lawsuit was filed against Jada and Will Smith by this man, Bilal Salem, who says that he's a former friend of theirs? Well, Jada has responded to the claims in the lawsuit. Here's a quick recap of all the details of the lawsuit that he filed in California in December of 2025. The claims were intentional infliction of emotional distress, affliction and false statements, retaliation and intimidation, and harm to his reputation, career, finances, and emotional well-being.
For LisaRaye, the whole situation between August and Jada wasn't just scandalous, it was disturbing. This so-called entanglement wasn't a normal relationship at all. August came to Jada looking for comfort, seeing her as a kind of mother figure he could trust while he was going through tough times. She agreed to guide him spiritually, but somehow that connection crossed every possible line, and before long, he found himself in her bed. When August did or said something Jada didn't like, she reportedly cut him off cold, like he never meant anything to her. He was just tossed aside, left to deal with the emotional wreckage on his own. And now, people can't help but compare what happened to August with what Brashia Gray went through. Both young men drawn in, used up, and then pushed away like old news once they'd served their purpose. One insider even put it bluntly, saying, so August came to Jada for help when he was vulnerable, and she used him because she wanted to. It's the kind of story that makes people question what's really going on behind the smiles and red table talk. And now comes the twist that's got everyone talking all over again. Rumors are swirling that Jada's web of secrets goes even deeper than anyone thought. Sources close to the situation claim that several people from her inner circle have started distancing themselves, quietly unfollowing her online, refusing to attend events, and turning down invitations to those famous Smith family gatherings. The Hollywood crowd is whispering that some folks are scared more dirt could come out, and nobody wants to be caught in the crossfire.
He said that at a birthday celebration that they were having for Will Smith in 2021, Jada and some of her friends approached him in a hotel lobby and told him that if he did not stop telling her business, he was going to end up missing or catch a and kept insisting that he signed an NDA and had one of her associates allegedly follow him to his car.
Meanwhile, Will's been trying to keep things calm on his end, acting like everything's fine. But insiders say the tension between him and Jada is at an all-time high. After years of trying to control the narrative, the cracks are showing, and people are finally seeing that perfect Hollywood image crumble. Even longtime friends of the Smiths are reportedly fed up with the drama, saying they're done defending behavior that keeps landing them in controversy. LisaRaye and Tisha Campbell, on the other hand, are standing firm. They're saying this isn't about gossip, it's about truth. Both women have made it clear that they're tired of seeing powerful people manipulate others under the name of mentorship or guidance. They've been through it, seen it up close, and now they're not holding back anymore. Hollywood might still try to protect its favorites, but it's getting harder to hide behind fame and fortune. One thing's for sure, the more people speak up, the messier this story gets, and the harder it'll be for Jada and Will to silence the noise. And just when everyone thought the dust might finally settle, another wave of revelations started shaking things up again. Insiders are now saying that a few former staff members from the Smiths team have been reaching out to blogs, hinting that they've seen and heard way more than the public ever imagined. These people are talking about secret meetings, mysterious guests, and even confidential deals that were supposedly made to keep certain stories buried. It's like every week, another layer of the Smith empire starts to crack. Social media is on fire again, with fans divided. Some defending Jada, saying she's being unfairly targeted, while others claim this is karma catching up after years of shady behavior.
It's very different because, as I said, there's so many people that are side-eyeing me, looking at me questionable about it. I mean, I've lost money, friendships, relationships behind it. And I think it's because people don't necessarily know the truth, but I've never done anything wrong. I love those people.
Meanwhile, Will is keeping his head down, trying to promote new projects, but fans aren't letting him forget the scandals that just won't die down. Every time he steps out, someone brings up August, or the Oscar slap, or one of those old interviews where things suddenly make a lot more sense now. LisaRaye and Tisha, though, they're not backing off one bit. Word is they've been contacted for interviews and maybe even a tell-all documentary to finally share everything they've held back over the years. They both believe the truth's already leaking out piece by piece, and it's only a matter of time before the full story blows open. At this point, Hollywood isn't just watching, it's bracing itself. Because if these whispers turn into real evidence, the Smiths might be facing the biggest reckoning of their entire careers. Now here's where the story takes an even wilder turn. The Smith empire might be facing some serious fallout, not just from Hollywood, but from inside their own circle. Word is, people who were once considered family friends are quietly cutting ties, saying they don't want to get caught in whatever storm is coming next. Some of them allegedly signed NDAs, but now a few are hinting that they're ready to break their silence if the right platform or paycheck comes along. And if that happens, the floodgates could open wide.
Definitely think I had a sex addiction of some kind. Yes, that everything could be fixed by sex.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Meanwhile, fans have been rewatching old Red Table Talk episodes, pointing out moments that hit way differently now. Some clips show Jada laughing about entanglements or giving advice on love and honesty, and viewers are calling out the irony. The internet's saying it loud. How can you preach transparency when you've been hiding the truth all along? Insiders also claim that Will's team is trying to do major damage control, reaching out to PR experts and image consultants to help restore his reputation. But it might be too late. The public isn't buying the polished act anymore. Every new headline only makes people dig deeper, and the theories keep getting darker. Through it all, LisaRaye and Tisha are reportedly sitting back and watching the chaos unfold, feeling like justice is finally catching up. After years of being silenced and dismissed, it looks like the truth is bubbling to the surface, and this time, not even Hollywood's power players can stop it from coming out. Just when it seemed like the Smith drama couldn't go any deeper, boom, new voices started stepping forward, and what they're saying could shake up everything. A few upcoming artists and insiders from the early 2000s scene are now speaking out, hinting that they too had strange encounters around the Smith circle back in the day. These aren't random online rumors. Some of them are people who actually worked on projects tied to Will or Jada, and they're claiming that the same patterns everyone's been talking about were happening long before the public ever noticed. People are starting to connect the dots. The mentorships, the guidance, and the way so many young stars seem to suddenly fade out of the spotlight after getting too close is giving everyone chills because the stories sound way too familiar. Hollywood's golden couple, who always talked about healing and energy, are now being painted in a totally different light when it's got fans questioning everything they ever said on that famous red table.
He was with me every step of the way, first out the limo. So Charlie has been with me, 30 years coming up in the business. So, he's surrounded by a whole lot of strength. He's surrounded by a whole lot of love. And all he has to do is add discipline, and he's going to be all right.
Meanwhile, the internet detectives are on the case. Old photos, interviews, and social media clips are resurfacing, and they're telling a story that doesn't match the squeaky clean image we were all sold. Every new post sparks a new theory, and it feels like people are piecing together a puzzle that the Smiths have been trying to hide for years. And as the noise grows louder, insiders say Jada's circle is starting to panic because once the wrong person speaks up with receipts, the whole Hollywood facade could come crashing down in one explosive moment. At this point, it's clear the Smith story has officially spiraled beyond anyone's control. More people are starting to realize that what once looked like harmless Hollywood gossip might actually be exposing years of power games, manipulation, and secrets buried under fame. The energy around Jada and Will have shifted. Fans aren't cheering for them like they used to. Now they're side-eyeing every post, every interview, every smile that seems just a little too practiced. Whispers say Jada's team is scrambling behind the scenes, trying to spin the narrative again. Maybe even planning a truth-telling interview to soften the blow. But folks online aren't buying it. Every time she speaks, the comments fill up with people calling her out, saying, "We've heard enough stories. Now we want the truth." It's like the entire internet has turned into an investigation board with timelines, screenshots, and receipts piling up fast.
It's like Uncle Will, who is best to give you advice, and it's Will Smith, and I'm getting so much good advice. I got my first acting role, Empire, and it's changing my life, and it's like I'm listening from the greatest, and it's like making me well prepared.
Meanwhile, Will's staying quiet, but that silence is starting to look suspicious. Some say he's trying to protect what's left of his image, while others think he's just waiting for the storm to pass. Either way, the damage is done. The red carpet smiles and family photos can't hide the tension anymore, and even that kid seem to be keeping a low profile while everything plays out. And LisaRaye and Tisha, they're watching from the sidelines, unbothered, because now the world is seeing what they tried to warn everyone about years ago. Hollywood's perfect couple might finally be facing the reality they created, and no amount of fame or fortune can stop what's coming next. Now the whispers have turned into full-blown chatter, and Hollywood can't stop talking. It's like every day a new piece of the puzzle drops, and suddenly the whole glamorous image surrounding Will and Jada looks like smoke and mirrors. What's wild is how many people are saying they knew something was off for years. They just didn't have the courage to speak up. But now that others are stepping forward, the silence is breaking, and the truth is echoing across every corner of the industry. Reports are floating around that some top-tier media outlets are sitting on major exclusives, interviews, screenshots, and documents that could confirm what's only been whispered so far. And if those stories go public, it won't just be messy, it could completely reshape how people see the Smith legacy. The power couple image, the open marriage talks, the healing persona. It's all starting to look like a mask that's finally slipping off. Online, fans are split right down the middle. Some are defending Will and Jada, saying everyone makes mistakes, while others are calling for accountability, demanding they stop hiding behind fame and start owning their actions. Every post, every interview, every resurfaced clip adds more fuel to the fire, and people can't look away. And through it all, LisaRaye and Tisha are standing firm, calm but confident, as if they already know how this story ends. Because no matter how long it takes, one thing's certain, the truth doesn't stay buried forever. And Hollywood's favorite couple might be standing on the edge of their biggest downfall yet. It's honestly heartbreaking when you think about it. Aldous came to Jada broken, searching for comfort, and she made him feel good, made him believe he was finally safe, only to toss him aside and run right back to her husband when it no longer...
You know, he said, you know Will me, you know Diddy made me suck it, you know what's going on, you know Charlie made me suck. And I said, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea. So he crying, no blood is coming from his nose. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And I'm like, yo, listen.
He loved her because she gave off that nurturing, motherly vibe he'd been missing, and he fell for her completely, not realizing how emotionally wounded he really was. But Jada, she knew exactly what she was doing. She saw his pain and still used it to her advantage, shaping him into what she wanted until she didn't need him anymore. Once he wasn't useful, she dropped him, just like that. And now, while he's out here struggling to find himself again, she's brushing it off, calling the whole thing an entanglement like it was no big deal. It's cold and it's cruel, especially when you think about how much trust he put in her. At the end of the day, this whole situation shows how twisted things can get when fame, power, and vulnerability collide. But what do you think about all this? Was Jada wrong for what she did, or was August just too naive to see the truth? Sound off in the comments below. I really want to know what y'all think. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment to keep this conversation going. Because trust me, there's always more tea where this came from.